Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are live. Day trading, scalp. Boom. Boom. Let's see in a chat. 64 consult. Good morning. Good morning to you, sir. How are you? All right. We're about to open. 12 seconds. And then it's market open. Let's get some coffee in me. Sherry, good to see you. Gotta wake up. Right, we had a bit of a sell-off as well. Oh, look at that. Look at that open. Oof. Oh, trading view slow. It's lagging. We've got a bit of a lag here. But these are micros, so maybe the micro chart is a little bit different than the E-mini. There is a bit of a difference in the way the candles are moving right now on the open. All right, not great, but let's adjust the footprint to a bit more of a. I'm just going to turn this heater off. I've got a heater on. Don't know why. It's getting a bit too warm. Let's do it to 16 now that we've opened. See if the clusters are a bit bigger, easier to spot. Thomas, my friend, how are you? Good to see you again. I like it when I see all regular names. The Dow is flying. Good morning, Consult, as well. Good morning. The Dow is flying. Oh, flying up or down? I think we're truly in a downward trend. I mean, we haven't actually broke. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Just as I tried to show something. Oh, look at that volume. Oh my, 2,000 on the delta. The sells are well and truly great. I sniped 1K this morning on the shorts. Amazing. Good stuff, man. Romna, good to see you again. How are you? Look at these shorts coming in finally. It's taken a while, but they finally are pushing this market down. And if we look at the daily real quick, let me just go to candles, easier to spot. Hide all the drawings. We're going to see all the faff. Now, we're not really out of that range yet. We're still very much in it. Especially, we're getting to the bottom, but especially, down these lows here. That's dangerous territory, obviously. Wouldn't be surprised if we see some kind of, pullback, something, some kind of resistance or support even in this case in that area. But as you all know, I've been saying bearish. I'm waiting for a big sell-off, something similar to this, like a real boom, 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 push this market down a bit. Is this the beginning? I mean, fingers crossed, I hope so, right? How much longer is it going to take? All that pressure being built up. The buyers keep buying the dip, but I'm pretty confident I'm only generally going to be looking for shorts unless obviously things change. Look at these buyers trying to get control of this market again. Wow, this could be a V-shaped reversal even. This is very similar to a V-shaped reversal in the way the volume's responding. Like all this, sell volume on the open and instantly kind of that's why it's called a V-shaped reversal. It literally looks like a letter V, right? But if there's follow through, then yeah, this could be a real deal. But because we are at the bottom of that range, so naturally you're going to get, like I said, you're going to get buyers trying to buy this dip essentially. I'm going to make the footprint a little bit bigger because each cluster is just a bit too small. Oh, that's much nicer. Look at that. Now again, look at these buyers coming in heavy. Oh, wow, this could be the V-shaped reversal. Oh, wow. That was unexpected. Entered at 741.75 and got stopped out at 772 right before the dump. That's painful, man. But it happens. You know, it happens all the time. Good things you had a stop. You know, good thing you not. It's not a good thing you got stopped out, but you know what I mean. It's a good thing you had a stop. So many traders, you know, keep doing a whole move the stop loss. I did it before. One of my worst trading experiences came from essentially doing that. So, you know, take them as they come. I won't trade without a stop. Yeah, no, that's the right way to do it. You have to have at least a hard stop. I can understand some people having like a soft stop because I sometimes do that. So, for example, you know, say I want a short right now and I'm in a short, and you know my stop will be above here. I might have a soft stop in terms of like a bit of a harder stop a bit higher up, and then you know that's the absolute get out. This is looking quite good, and then you know because sometimes it can just wick a little bit, but it really depends on the risk I'm putting on the trade. If it's relatively low risk, I'm happy to kind of you know have a bit of a soft stop. But if it's a bit more higher risk, yeah, it makes me nervous then. So this is an area I wanted to potentially short at, but it's just too quick, the market right now. Again, too quick. I kind of want to see it. Let me just readjust these zones a little bit. I am still over majority. I'm still bearish, but I also recognize now that these buyers are extremely aggressive recently. And although you might have a longer term kind of bearish outlook, doesn't mean it's going to be bearish for a scalper. So I'm not, damn, that would have been a beautiful trade. Exactly tapped right into that gap in volume. But it just happened. I mean, you can see it in hindsight on the footprint a bit, but it was just too quick. I didn't even notice it really go there. But again, you know, just too quick. That's the only thing about the open. The market moves lightning fast. Oh, yeah, it just wanted to retest that gap. And potentially, are we going to start breaking lower now? I mean, we did clear the previous low at open. What I really would love to see in terms of the candles or the footprint even, can't give you an example right now, but essentially, like this is kind of nice, but not perfect, that candle there. We're not really seeing it at the moment, but essentially, whenever you see a candle on the footprint, it's got such a high probability of this working out. Whenever you see a candle, let's take this bullish candle here, right? Whenever you see a candle with kind of a relatively longer wick, in fact, the wick doesn't matter too much, but say it's a bullish candle and it closes obviously bullish, more kind of higher up than lower down. So less of a doji, more of a bullish, kind of like proper bullish candle, right? And if all the volume, the majority of the sell volume is at the bottom of the candle, and then you got buy volume kind of in the middle or, you know, near the top, not right at the top always, but kind of, you know, in the middle, but basically buy volume, heavier buy volume on top of heavy sell volume. Whenever you see that, that is a beautiful, I guess you can call it a candlestick pattern, but yeah, it's beautiful. Like here, you had it a little bit on the sell side, but like I said, you want it to be a proper like bearish candle. This is more kind of like it's technically bearish, but do you know what I mean? The body is so tiny. You know, you want to see kind of a full-bodied candle, because yeah, this is not really it. Or whenever you see like a trend start or like a leg start, and you have kind of majority of the volume similar to this, right? Like as we're pushing up, you see how all the clusters, all the sell volumes at the bottom of each candle, like that's usually quite a nice, yeah, you can kind of ride that until it starts flipping. and you can see it start flipping. The buy volume's majority at the bottom, at the top, and then, yeah, that's always good to look out for as well. But let's let this market, oh, look at this sell volume coming in. I want it to calm down just a little bit. Just a little bit. This is still very hectic. But I am more bearish on this market. That would have been a beautiful trade, man, right at the top here. Because I don't really have any areas down below. This is the annoying thing. At least not for a while. In fact, I can see it probably better on TradingView. If I switch to the 15-minute, I don't really have any gaps. I don't know why I got this drawn out. Get rid of that. This is obviously now all moved. And get rid of that. That's been well and truly filled now. There is still a gap there. Just make it a little bit better. So I wouldn't start looking at bullish positions until we get above that kind of gap. Then potentially I'll start looking for, bullish structure and longs. But as long as we're trading below this gap, I'm kind of happy to be more on the short side. It's just naturally we got, this whole area here is there's going to be a lot of, it's going to take a lot of aggression from the sellers to kind of really break through here. But that would be, because that's the bottom of the range essentially. So the majority of traders, I can imagine, are treating this as a range, long at the bottom, short at the top. And we've kind of had that. So there's going to be a lot of longs coming in. If we can trap a lot of that buy volume, trade below it, and break through, that's going to, I can imagine we've got quite a sell-off coming. But the next area of interest, it's not really any great areas. There's one right below here, but that's far away. I don't think that's going to happen today. Well, you never know, it might do, but it's nonetheless, it's far away. We still got a while before we reach that area. So that would be the next kind of let's look for, I can imagine there'll be a decent pullback of some kind in that area. And then the next area would be kind of within the same sort of region. And then you got lower areas right at the bottom here. So there's a lot of, the sellers have got a big task on their hand to kind of break through all those areas. And as you can see, we're kind of dead on the point of control of this whole region. Point of control there, point of control there. So yeah, this is going to be a bit of a choppy ride in this kind of area, but it looks like, oh, we're just breaking through potentially. Let's go back to the 1 minute, see what's happened. Yeah, and you can see those buyers come in, but they're not doing that well, these buyers. They're not as effective as they used to be. A few days ago, those buyers were freaking not as good as they was. Yeah, that would have been such a beautiful short, man. I'm a little annoyed they managed. It's fine. It's fine. I'm trying to see, is there any? Yeah, we really only have that area at the bottom quite far away, 25, call it 25,500 roughly. That's literally the only kind of area I'd be looking at potentially buying into. So the only plan that I have today until we get there is shorting the market on pullbacks. That's literally, so trying to find any gaps. So this whole kind of movement down we had, since, well, pretty much since, beginning of today. I'm just going to draw out any kind of gaps we have. Like there's one created here. If we get a pullback into that kind of gap, I could potentially take a short. Blew through. I want to see now. Yeah, that'll be my next plan of action. A pull back into kind of 670 area, and then potentially a continuation. That's the plan. That's the plan, Batman. Good morning, TM Cloud. How are you? How are you doing? Man, look at the cumulative volume already. We're at negative 6,000. These sellers are extremely aggressive. Oh, here we go. We could have something happening. Just load this up. Come on. Just want to double check it's also on here. Yeah. There's like a little gap there where the market kind of blew through. Beautiful. Sugar. Didn't really. Technically, there was a pullback. It's a little bit. I think my settings on Project X versus. Shit! I didn't update the damn. It moved down, didn't it? I had it drawn a little bit off. We technically had the pullback. We all pretty much touched it, and then again, it's just too quick. We didn't really get into it. Ready for a short. So I think I've missed that rotation now, annoyingly. Maybe not. Maybe not. Look at the amount of sellers that are in here right now. Maybe this can squeeze them out a little bit, and then we get a proper pullback. Maybe. Hopefully. That's it. Trade above them. Okay, this could be the proper pullback now. All right. This could be it. Come on, get a bit higher. Get a bit higher. Trap some buyers. Sellers come back in. Usual play. I'm going to just load up a cash account just in case I want to take it. I need to measure how big these candles are roughly. Give me an idea. 20, 30 points. Okay. Yeah, five contracts is fine for that. I can handle 5. Come on, get back in. I want to see a little bit more. There's a lot of sellers, but they're still struggling. Don't become effective yet. Come on, a bit more higher up. This is freaking market running away from me every time. Running away from me. I'm just setting up my cash account real quick, getting this ready for a potential trade. Yeah, no, it needs to get a bit higher. That's it. Good. Oh shit, this is moving so quick. 5 contracts. All right. 5. I've got that loaded up, ready to potentially short. I've got a short on this account. No, don't do it yet. Go back up. Not yet. Don't you? You son of a. I need to be like a freaking algorithm to catch your speed, man. I tell you what, trying to manage 2 accounts. Don't tell. To be fair, I didn't really see any buyers get trapped either, though. Not really any buy volume at the top here. I think we can still keep going up. I think that's just a little premature push down. I don't think that's the move. That's it. Good. Let's go back a bit higher. Very good. The footprint's definitely lagging. All right, now I want to see potentially buyers get trapped. Let's not get too effective now, buyers. Let's stay trapped in this area. 184. Oh, you son of that! Absorption was so quick. I'm gonna drop to 3. It was so quick. Now I'm gonna get a really bad price. That was way too quick for me to react to. Slow down, man. Slow down. Come on. Slow down. Show me you still want to get trapped. 128, 128. I want to see 130. Buyers are still coming in. I want to see them get exhausted a bit more. That was just a big chunk of absorption. That was it. 140. This is looking a bit better. Oh, slow down. Oh, you son of a. This is so freaking quick. The moment I spot a potential entry, boom, the candle's already printed. We've already dropped down. I could enter at a bad price, but my stop will have to be 35, 30, 40 points. I don't really want to do good so far. Scalp 2K on the open. Incredible, man. Incredible. Drive, good day to you as well. How are you doing? I need to create an algorithm, I think. Some kind of bot, right? That at market open is quicker than me. It's a lot quicker than me. This is just, it gaps, man. It gaps way too much. By the time I spot it on the footprint, it's already happened. This is why after, an hour or so, the market, when it calms down a bit, it's a lot easier to trade. Fresh on market open. I mean, it's not always like this. Sometimes market open can be quite calm. But when it's very, very, very quick, by the time you spot it, it's already made its move. And it's all about getting, the best possible price. I'm just hoping it consolidates a bit here, calms down, and I can. It wants to make its move, man. Yeah. You son of a. I'm hoping there's a bit of console. Come back into it. Just calm down, relax. There we go. Nice and slow. The thing is, because my TP would have been at the bottom of this candle, it will be a negative risk reward right now. I mean, I could go for maybe an extension, and, hope for the best, but which I think will happen. But we might. This is the thing: we might get chop, and I don't want to get chop. Doing pretty good. One more $500 day, and I'll have the 25K one-step prime account passed. Amazing, man. Amazing. You've got this. By the end of this week, you've got this. No better feeling than passing a challenge. I mean, getting a payout's probably even better feeling, but you know what I mean. And then, yeah, it's a great feeling. Yeah, I missed this. It's too late. It's too quick for me. I have missed it. I missed the trade. It's already done it. That's the trade done. It's just too quick. But maybe we get another opportunity. Let's hope. I'm still hoping that it ranges for a bit, It's So that's why I would have targeted the low, because a lot of the time you get, okay, we're going back in. Come on now. Come on. My footprint's definitely lagging a bit. It doesn't usually, it's so freaking quick. It changed from like positive something to negative 90. And the moment it did that, we're already down here. Meaning I would have got filled down here rather than wanting to get filled up here where, you know, too fast. This is why people use freaking algorithms, man. It's just high frequency trading and all that. The markets these days, they're not how they were like 15 years ago when I started. They were a lot more calm. Obviously, you know, there was always volatility, but they were a hell of a lot more calm than they are today. Today, ever since HFT became a thing, ever since a few institutions figured out that they can front run people's orders essentially using algorithms, the markets have been just, yeah, they've moved so quick because of these damn HFT algorithms. And I get why they do it. I mean, it's almost guaranteed money, you know, because if you know, for example, by the time, like, the way HFT works, easy explanation is imagine I want to buy and I click the buy button. That order has to get sent, you know, your broker sends it off to the exchange, and the exchange, you know, goes to some serve data center, and then goes to the exchange, and then it gets filled. And that probably takes like a few milliseconds or whatever, right? Even on the retail level, there's going to be some kind of delay. Now, what these HFT firms figured out is that if they have their data centers as close as possible to whichever exchange, right? And, you know, I guess they have like good tech as well, the best cables, all that kind of crap to speed up. Their algorithm can spot that order, like and they only really do it to bigger orders, obviously. There's no point doing it to tiny ones. They can spot that order, my order coming in, buy before me, and then sell it back to me at a bit of a worse price for me, but, you know, and they've made like a fraction. I'm talking just like a tiny fraction on that sale, because they've basically bought it before me and sold it back at a worse price, for me, obviously. And that's all they do, because they get they can outrun you because they're, you know, they've got it all set up to do that, and they do that. Just an algorithm does that constantly. Boom, 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 boom. So you get just not necessarily chaos, but you get a very fast moving market then. Do you know what I mean? Whereas normally one trade would be placed. That trade will now, so if you place one trade, there's obviously two trades, because it's technically one trade, but, you know, there'll be another side to that trade. Now with the HFT, they add another layer to it. They basically double the trade again. So you get multiple trades for the same trade, essentially. And that makes it just a little bit more chaotic, and the speed of it is just, you know, especially on the retail platform, you can't catch it. It's too quick. You'll always, you know, you're a snail in comparison to them. So when they see it, boom, they're already in and out by the time you try to get in. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're screwed, man. You have to just wait until it calms down and the speed of the market slows down a bit, because although I wanted to short here, I just couldn't have there was no way of catching it at the price I wanted. By the time I saw the trade appear on the footprint, it was too late. I already moved halfway down to my TP. These damn HFT people. But it's freaking intelligent, though. It's so smart, if you actually think. And it's guaranteed, literally guaranteed. I mean, it's absolute insanity. how they figured that out. How do you feel about getting in on the retests of the level you want to short? I would still happily short it up here. If we come back into it, and again, I see the footprint tells me, yeah, it looks good, I will short it. Ideally, I mean, ideally, I would have preferred to short it on the first test of it. 'Cause it's just a little bit better when it, like the first test, I feel is always a bit better. When it retests again and then retests again, I don't know if there's any. Oh, freaking hell, man! That would have been a good trade, but now you just got to wait for the next rotation. Essentially, if you miss it, you just don't chase the market. Wait for the next rotation. It's gonna happen. You just have to look for the next area. It's still just that area, and it's pretty much been filled, that gap. So, um, not much there. You just wait for more gaps in volumes to occur. Yeah, if you missed the first chance, if it comes back, I'll be happy to take. Oh, we're almost at that area. Holy crap! That must have been earlier on the stream as we started. I was like, yeah, that's really far away. How many freaking points did it just drop down? Because you can't really tell on the candles. 130 points we just dropped from where I wanted to end. What? The footprint's deceiving because it doesn't look like much. I mean, it's still, you can tell it's a big candle, but that is 55 points, that candle. Okay, so this is the first area I'll be interested in buying in once we get into this kind of area. Potentially buying or seeing. I'm not necessarily going to buy. It really depends on what is shown on the footprint, but that will be the first area I expect a significant kind of pullback. We're kind of seeing, heavy volume already on the sell side, all trapped at the bottom here. I don't want to front run it yet because this market is moving quick. I really do want it to get into this area. I'm just going to double check I drew it correctly. Always double check. Yeah, that's pretty much spot on. I'm just going to, and what I can do actually is really, because it's quite a big area, I can make the row size a bit smaller. Come on. Where's the settings? There it is. Let's bump it up to about 50. And we can see exactly where the gap is. So you can see the gap is it's narrowing down the gap a little bit for us. And then we'll bump it up to maybe like 80. All right, and you can kind of see where the true gap in volume is. There it is. I'm going to bump it up to about 150 until you get like pinpoint precision where it is. We're just going to make that a little bit small. I can get rid of this. And then we'll do 200. Yeah. And that for me is the lowest volume node in that little area. Bump this up back to 24, back to normal. So I know that is most likely the spot, the true gap where I expect the reaction to really occur. Now, it might not touch it exactly, but it's more lower down in that area. Now I know. So don't want to front run it yet. Just double check there was no other gaps created on the way down. Oh, there was one. Look at that. Clone. There's one right here. Little one created. Let's see what happens as we get into that area. If we pull back into that area, potentially again, there's opportunity to short a little scalp. 10 a.m. candle can go either way though. 10 a.m. candle. Are you talking like the hourly candle? All right. So here's the game plan now. I'm just going to draw out the price point. So exactly pretty much at 25,500. A little bit above, but that's fine. 25,505. 505 and 25. Let's call it 500. Come on. That's fine. 49975. Pretty much. So this is now the game plan is potentially long it here. I think it might need to do one more rotation. This is rotation, another pullback. Oh, we're coming back into that area. Let's see. Potential short opportunity. Got my finger on sell just in case. Slowed. Oh, you freaking. It's still so freaking quick. I may have to front run it here. By the time I see the confirmation on the footprint, it moves already. So I may have to front run the trade, unfortunately. That's the only way, the whole dipping your toe in strategy. All right, let's see. Here we go. 148. Still small, still small. Still small. Sell pressure is not able to do much damage. I want to see buyers exhaust. Come on, come on, come on. Buyers are still coming in. Oh, big sellers are not effective still. Oh, that's a huge amount. Oh, that was. They came in 245 contracts. I want to see them get that, but they're very inefficient right now. The buyers are still buying it up. Good evening, Sam from Philippines. Benjamin, good to see you. Good evening to you. What time is it in the Philippines? It must be quite late for you. Okay. I just want to see buyers fail. Put volume into the market and fail. That's essentially what I'm looking for. Okay, there was quite a bit of absorption there. I can go in 3 contracts. I mean, 3 micros. I did click sell. I don't know what's going on. There it is. And I can have a stop, just a little bit above. I'm going to front run it a bit. Because I feel by the time I'll spot it, it'll be too late and it's already moved. Does that make sense? So I have to front run it. There it is. But let's see if we can get back down to that low. Because we may start consolidating in this area. Their buyers are buying it up again. Just want to see if they're failing. 66 contracts, 29 sellers are still coming in. It's looking okay still. Oh, buyers come at 95, back down to 44. 87 on the sell side. Oh, back down to 38. Buyers are it's lighting up blue or green even. This could be a bit of a pullback. We'll wait. I think we might go back into it and I can jump in again. It was just lighting up green and it, the buyers were coming in and this tiny little bit of a, it's obviously not a trend line, but you know what I mean. I don't even know what you want to call this. What have I done? It's not a trend, but I don't know what you want to call that. Little I don't know. But yeah, it is bear flag. There you go. Yeah, I don't know all the names for the patterns, to be honest. I like we kind of learnt them, but it was more just sort of, I don't know. It wasn't like the main thing we learnt. 11 p.m. Damn. That is late. So do you trade, Benjamin, do you trade like the NY Open then? Or what markets do you trade? Because I always wondered this, like imagine you lived in Australia. You couldn't really trade the US markets unless you're willing to be, up every night. So I feel like, you know, if you lived like in Australia, you're going to have to trade like the Asian markets, right? Good evening from KL. Where is KL? Sam, just started watching your channel. Broken Candlesticks. Thank you. Where's KL? I'm trying to figure out what KL is. Kuala Lumpur? I'm guessing Kuala Lumpur. Unless it's like, because it's not a US. Oh, I got it right. I was trying to figure out where KL is. Drive, nice trade. Yeah, it was all right. It was an all right trade. Oh, we're back in that area. I kind of wasn't looking, but yeah, I could have potentially again front runned it, but I feel there's going to be a bit of chop here. We might break above it, to be fair, have a bit more of extension and then drop. But this is the real kind of area I want to start looking at potential. You know, a real pullback, a real buy pullback down around 25,500 is where I'm expecting it. So I think there's going to be one more kind of rotation, you know, and then we're going to get potentially a lot of what I would expect a lot of buyers, or it will just blow right through. Sometimes you see that even in areas where you expect it, it just like it doesn't exist. And you're like, ah, that's weird. But that would be my expectation. Do you have a video on how you use the volume profile? Interested in what you're looking for with low volume nodes. I haven't created a video yet, but I will do. I absolutely will. But I try and explain it in these lives of what I'm looking for. Essentially, all I'm looking for is trap volume, right? So here's one right here. Let me actually draw that out for you, right? This low volume node right there. And the reason that one I would pick rather than like this low volume node, or I don't know, because it's low volume trapped between heavier volume. Yeah, so you got bigger volume and then no volume basically, and then bigger volume. Oh wow, okay, we've got a huge pullback. Let me get every time I start talking something happens, damn it. Holy moly. Okay, let me check. So we blew through that area. Aha, it's moved up a bit. We still kind of have this area in play, but it's not that good anymore. It's been pretty much filled, but we still have it technically in play. I'm just going to move this. Maybe the buyers came in a bit prematurely in that area. Although we didn't technically touch it, we got, I mean, look, we got like a tick away, 2 points away. Maybe that's already the big pullback that I expected already. It's just a bit early, didn't line up perfectly, which sometimes happens. It doesn't, you know, doesn't line up to the T always. But this area is still kind of holding. I trade gold commodities and also using that volume profile. I'm assuming same setup, same execution of yours, but I need to know more of your fixed range setups because I'm using the value area low and value area high. Explain, Benjamin, explain what you mean by fixed range. Oh, sorry. I had a dumb moment. I know what you mean. Sorry. The fixed range volume profile, right? So the way I draw them is essentially just on any kind of wherever the move starts, for the most part. So this one I drew basically from the top, and since we started pushing down, I've drawn it. And anytime we get a pullback, I'm now looking at where are those low volume areas. So we got one right here, right? And I'm looking at those areas as potential, you know, points where the market could reject and continue to move down, right? So we're kind of in that one there. And then I used a footprint on top of it to see if there's any as kind of confirmation for the entry. Does that make sense? Good morning, Caden. How are you? Broken candles, tariff decision. Yeah, what's happening with that? I haven't actually checked, which is a bit silly of me. let me quickly Google it. So it was meant to be. Why has it gone to Yahoo? Who the hell uses Yahoo? Why is my browser? What even is this? Stupid thing. Tariff. Let me just Google it, find out. Oh, so we blew. Okay, this could be that's slightly annoying, man. That is slightly annoying. That's the proper pullback I was anticipating, but it happened earlier. Didn't quite get into that area, and then it happened. But it's all right. I'm still overall bearish, so I'm just going to look for areas where, like, good areas where we're going to expect the sellers to come back in. And it's really at the top here. This one looks really nice. If we do reach all the way up here, I could potentially look for a short. But that's really high up. So I wouldn't be surprised if actually this area kind of holds. Because it has just moved up one level a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised. We're at the point of control that we get some kind of potential something here, at least back down to this area, and then kind of consolidate or something. I might even front run this, to be honest, because I'm starting to see buyers at the top here. Yes, we got a lot of buyers we need to blow through. I'm not seeing anything 100% on the footprint like that's really good for the sellers, but apart from a lot of buyers, and we're kind of pushing down, so I'm going to front run it a little bit in anticipation that the sellers are going to come in. I can just have a bit stop at the top there, but we could very easily, the buyers could very easily blow through here. The only reason I'm doing it is it's moving so quick, this market. I think by the time, again, I see the confirmation, it's going to be too late. So I have to, unfortunately, front run, which is not good. Let me check the tariff decisions real quick. What's going on? Supreme Court ruling is not about reform volumes, right trade. I'll look into that in a second. Supreme Court decision delayed. Aha. Yeah, I just saw that now. That's not good. It's not good at all. One more thing about this delta percent and CVD. I don't know what is the purpose of that. Willie Doan, good morning to you. So the purpose, okay, let me explain that real quick to you, Benjamin. So the delta is just obviously the difference between the buyers and sellers in that candle. That's pretty easy. Delta percent is the delta divided by the total volume. So for example, here 21.5, that means there was 21.5% more buyers than sellers in that candle, right? Just see it like that. And then the session CVD, that's the cumulative volume delta from the start of the session, so the start of the day, all the way to the end. So we've had, since the market opened, essentially, not US Open. I think on certain programs you can change it to where you want the session to start, but I believe TradingView starts at literally the beginning of the day. We've had 9,000 more sell contracts in the market than buy contracts, the delta. All right, and the session CVD, I really only use it for ranges most of the time. So if we go really like sideways, I can use the session CVD to kind of figure out, oh, look at these sellers trapped at the bottom here. Not looking good. Not looking good for that short position. May have front runned it, but it's fine. I think I'm going to get stopped out here probably. Just actually, sellers come back in again. Because we are, what price point is this? 697. All right, Let me move it up to actually above here. 698 is really where you want to be for the stop. So the session, as I was explaining, could you do a video on how you draw the volume profile? I will do, 100%, Willie. I will do. Where was I? Session, yes. Sorry, I keep losing my train of thought. Session CVD. So I use it on a sideways market. This is like, technically we're kind of going sideways now, but it's only been a few candles, so it's not like you want to wait for a bit more of a decent range. But when we do go sideways, right, I look at the beginning of the range, like what the value it was when we started the range, and you know, where we are into, oh, here we go. Front running it kind of worked there. This area might hold. I think, you know, if we go all the way down, we could probably go all the way down, but I'm expecting again buyers potentially to come in a bit here. Come on. I'm just going to watch what's going on here. 105, 113. I'll get back to the session CVD in a second. Just want to see what the hell's happening here. Potentially flatten because I feel I got a bad price at the bottom of a range I entered, but we'll see. If we can hold, you see, here is where the sellers came in, that started the initial move, but then these buyers have bought up all the sellers again, so it's not looking great. That was just we need to get below this whole chunk of buyers. If we struggle to get below them, we're going back to the top of the range, and we could, yeah, the buyers came in. But back to the session CVD, I look at the beginning, the value at the beginning of the range, and then wherever we are in the range, say we're like, because obviously you don't know when that range is going to end, right? That's anyone's guess, but say like after 10 minutes or something, and we've just been moving sideways, I compare the value. So here, for example, like, oh, here's a great example actually. So we've just moved sideways for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes or so. We've just been moving sideways. Buyers, sellers, no one's really won, right? We're just kind of going sideways, right? So we started off the range at negative 9,600 contracts, right? And now we're at negative 8,400 contracts. Okay, so there's been an extra 1,000 buy contracts that have come in this range, but the market hasn't gone up. So I would still be more aligned to the sellers, right? Because the sellers are slightly more efficient, not a great deal amount, but they are slightly more efficient than the buyers. So if sellers now come in more aggressively, they are more likely to push the market down than buyers are, because they're just, each sell contract has more of a effect than a buy contract. Does that make sense? There's less absorption. So there's essentially, what that means is, in the book here, there are more people willing to sell and absorbing buy pressure than there is people buying in this area in the book, absorbing sell pressure. And that doesn't 100% guarantee that it's going to go down, because if buyers just keep buying and keep coming in aggressively, it's going to push the market up regardless, right? But there is a bit more of a probability now that this market is more likely to go down if sellers decide to come in more aggressively, right? So I'm actually going to hold this position. Doesn't look too bad until that kind of shift in power changes. But we could range, you know, for 20 minutes. I heard guaranteed in short, full port. Absolutely, yeah. Full port. Like the stream, guys, to help the channel grow. Yeah, that would be much appreciated if you could like the stream. I think that's all you can pretty much do, like it. But yeah, always greatly appreciated. And if you're not subscribed, if you could, that would be great. Benjamin says, see, this is why I love scalping, because you can exit a trade in just seconds or minutes, depending on the volume footprint. And also you can put that stop loss very tight or green. Exactly. I love scalping, man. And it's just, I don't know. It works with my personality. Like if I'm wrong, I'd rather be wrong quick. I don't want to wait 4 hours to discover I was wrong. Like, 5-10 minutes, tell me I'm wrong. Do you know what I mean? In, out, in, out. And if I'm wrong, I can always jump back in, you know? Like if this trade doesn't work out and I get stopped out and it's just a wick annoyingly, and then I see, actually, no, the sellers are still in control. I'll jump back in again. It's no big deal. And then maybe I catch the move. Because you don't always catch it the first time as well, especially when it starts ranging. That's when it becomes a little bit meh. Because as you all know, ranges have this annoying tendency to not fully respect the top of the range or the bottom. Sometimes they can just wick out a little bit and then make it smooth. And all right, you can combat that by having a bigger stop, but I'd rather just get stopped out. I don't know where my stop was originally now. I'd rather just get stopped out and potentially jump back in than be wrong and then have a really big loss and then be like, damn. It's just better for my psychology, I think. But either way, I think both sides kind of do the same thing. But yeah, I'm stuck in at the bottom of a range, which is nice, which is annoying. Me too. It's the Indian in me. I saw another comment about something about prop firms. Let me just see. Oh yeah, Alba Williams. Sorry. Which is the best prop firm to use for testing, and which is the best to use after the test? Alba. So I work for Ola Prime, which is a prop firm. So obviously, I can only talk about Ola Prime, and therefore I am obviously going to be biased as well, and I'm going to say Ola Prime. But look, as long as they, have verified reviews, as long as it depends on your style as well. Some prop firms are better for more sort of swing traders, or they have an account that's more in line for swing trade. It really depends on your style of trading. Obviously, I'm going to say Ola Prime. I work for them, so so just full disclosure, I'm not the best person. If you want a truly unbiased kind of answer, obviously, I won't be the best person for that. But definitely give us a try. I will say we are a very decent prop firm, and we pay out within an hour, so people love that. And I think most of our rules are very fair. We're pretty competitive prices wise, and yeah, well worth checking us out, especially if we're running like an offer or some sort of discount or something. Yeah, you can grab yourself quite a decent bargain. I feel you, and it's really frustrating. And also, if the market is ranging, yeah, it's so frustrating. But I'm still overall more bearish on this market. I think, okay, maybe we're breaking the range now, hopefully. So the next area where I'm going to potentially want to flatten or get out would be this purple box below. Obviously, I'm going to aim for, the low of the day. That would be the next area where I think we might have, again, a little bit of a pullback. We might even come back to where my entry is. So if I see something like that happen, I'd rather get out and then have the possibility of getting back in than, erode essentially the profit or, lose what I could have had. So I'm just going to keep my eye on the footprint as we get close to this kind of area. This is, hopefully we just blow right through. But the sellers are coming. You can see the absorption happening, right? Lots of sell contracts, and we're just not dropping down. That means buyers are absorbing it. But let's see if we can break through that iceberg. There's someone in the order book that's picked up quite a few orders there. But the market's a little bit more calm now. So it's a lot, you have a few more seconds at least to make a decision. Oh, look at those buyers coming in right in that area. Let's see if they're effective. Instantly, 100, they're all coming in there as expected. But they're not pushing the market up. So that's good for us. And we're trading below those buyers. So far it's still good. But they can push this market up if they keep coming in. Right. So we're just looking how effective they are. So far, they're not that effective, which is okay. So I can still stay in this position, but I have got my finger on flatten just in case. And I, could very easily, put this to break even at very least. There we go. We're breaking through. Big sellers coming in. I'm just going to get rid of this so I can see what the P&L is. All right, we're kind of breaking through. Look at all those sellers coming in. Let's see if they remain effective. If they start getting absorbed heavily, that's not a good sign for us. Bit of absorption near the bottom. Come on, sellers, don't fail here. I should have taken this on my cash account. I haven't taken a trade on my cash, but never mind. Would have been a nice one. Nice trade to take. Come on. Look at that. Over 1,000 contracts in this candle came in. They're struggling to get it down a bit, but they are coming in so aggressively that they are kind of breaking through that iceberg. But the efficiency of the sellers in that area was kind of dropped a little bit just because there was, again, absorption from the buyers. But if we keep coming in aggressive, the sellers keep coming in aggressive, this can keep moving it down. They just can't take their foot off the gas. If they start exhausting themselves, then, the buyers can very easily create a retracement here. Oh, it's starting to look a bit. Buyers, come on. Don't fail. Oof, buyers coming in a bit. Back down to 69, 37, good. Absorb them. 182 on 79. Sellers there's an iceberg here, so they're struggling to break through and they're kind of letting their foot off the gas a bit. So I'm going to take the money. I have hit flatten. It's just my computer's so freaking slow right now. There we go. We're out. I'm going to check if that prop firm of yours is available in my country. I believe the Philippines, we serve the Philippines. So I believe that's absolutely fine. But going back to the session CVD, the cumulative volume delta, right? So in this range area, let's see. So we started out in the range at negative 9,790, right? And towards the end of the range, we were, negative, 8,069. So almost 1,000 extra buy contracts came in at the top here during this sideways movement and didn't get the market up. Therefore, the efficiency, the probability is if sellers come in aggressively, they'll more likely push this market down than buyers push it up. So that's pretty much what I use the session, the cumulative delta. You can also kind of use it on, in markets that are actually moving. Like, let me see if I can find a good, I don't know if I can give an example right now. If I, because we had so much volume, but you can kind of use it as well in, like, say we pushed up or pushed down, doesn't really matter, right? Whichever direction. And you can look at the beginning of the move, what the CVD, what the cumulative was. So negative 12 here, 12,000. And then as we start pushing up, you see it's negative 10. So that's what you would expect, right? We're going up. The cumulative volume delta is going more in the buyer favor. So that's kind of, all right, what you would expect. But if you had a divergence, right? So imagine the cumulative volume delta kept going down, but we're going up. That's a divergence, basically, right? And that will pique your interest and basically say, right, more sellers are coming in, but we're still pushing up. This is probably a good potential area to buy. Do you know what I mean? But it's a lot rare to see that happen. When the market actually moves. But in a sideways market, because no one is winning, it's completely balanced technically. Price is just going sideways. The cumulative volume delta is like almost the best tool you can use to figure out if you're in a range whether it's going to go up or down. And it has a pretty good kind of statistical chance that it'll work in your favor. So yeah, whenever you see a tight range on the 1 minute chart, session CVD, man, all day long. You only need maybe about 5 minutes worth of data, 5 to 10 minutes worth of data to kind of, and then the more extreme it is, the more, in favor it will be. So here it was about 1,000 buy contracts extra. So that's not bad, considering. But if it was only 100, that's pretty much balanced, right? Like a little bit, it's still 50-50, anyone's game. But I say sometimes I've seen it 2,000-3,000 contracts in a really tight range. That's jump in, add a bit more size. You can, it's just adds more probability that it's going to go in your favor. So it just got once in discovery, do you look for retracements into low volume nodes or previous day or week profile? I kind of look at it all, right? So I want to know where I am in the longer term. So that's why I do longer term kind of volume profiles, right? So I had a longer one. Where is it? Here, right? So this one's all the way back, started from the beginning of the year, essentially, right? 2nd of January. So this is a much longer term, bigger volume profile, right? And it covers the last 2 weeks, because that's where the kind of upward move started, right? And that's where I got this area from. And we almost touched it and we had a decent pullback. So a little annoying that we didn't quite touch it. I would have liked to see, us actually get into that area, truly into it. And then if I saw lots of sellers trapped and then buyers start coming in, I would, it's well worth jumping in for a buy, because there's a good chance you're going to have a retracement here. And I think we've kind of had that happen, although it didn't. I mean, you got to remember that it's not a precise science, the market. The start of the area is technically there, but 2 points away is it's pretty much there. Do you know what I mean? It really depends when, people start entering, when algorithms and institutions start entering. They might get in a little bit earlier, they might get in a little bit later. Depends on the balance, But that's the kind of area I would have expected a pullback. I think we pretty much got it. Wouldn't be surprised though if we do jump back into it. If we do manage to kind of get into it and we get a bit lower down, that we'll still get another pullback. That's very possible. So I'm still, there is still potential for a buy trade down around 25,500. But right now we're just dead in the middle. There's nothing, I wouldn't want to trade in the middle. So we got this area at the top here. We've got the area at the bottom. There is a little one in the middle here, but generally speaking, if you actually look at it, it's pretty much been filled. It's not really low volume anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of the same volume as the bars around it. So you can get rid of this area. The next kind of there's one little one here. Again, not that great. The volume's been pretty much filled. And then we got one a bit higher up here now. But yeah, we're just kind of traveling between these two areas. So when we're in the middle of the area, just avoid basically trying to trade, because honestly, from my experience, it can go back up again. It can go back down. It can, when you're in the middle, it's just flip a coin almost. It's too hard to kind of predict in the middle. So not worth trading in that area. You want to always trade at extremes, you know, always trade at the extremes. But then after that area, if we do blow through it down here, we don't really have, I mean, technically there's another little low volume node, a little one here. The next area though below that would be all the way down here, right? This kind of low volume, but it's a much bigger area. You can really see how the low volume is kind of, and then there's a bit of spike in volume. So this whole kind of area here really is potential rejection area for buyers to, you know, take control again, which again kind of makes sense because we're at the bottom of, you know, a significant low, I would say, in the market. So you're going to expect buyers to come in, right? So you don't even really need the volume profile to figure that one out, but it definitely helps see areas that aren't that clear on the volume profile. And you can kind of see, you know, it was tested here back in 6th of January. That area was actually tested to the T, just dipped into it, and then boom, 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 up it went. So that kind of, you know, cements again that this area is a area of interest again for me. Hopefully we get down there, because that would be great. If we do get down, I would potentially be looking to buy, because we actually saw some really nice, you know, a really nice setup on the volume footprint as we got near this area, right? Like, again, just look at the delta, right? We're doing like 350, 150, 166, 300, 800, 25, and then 2,600 in that candle, right? I mean, just look at the amount of sellers. They are now vulnerable, these sellers, right? So much volume. If it, you know, if the buyers can push above them, there's going to be, they're going to have to drop out the market. They're going to have to get out the market, and that's going to convert to buy orders, and then that's going to cause a bit of a snowball effect to keep pushing the market up a bit, right? So, and we had, especially near the bottom, I mean, 800, almost 900 contracts, more than that actually, almost 1,000 contracts, right? Just over 1,000, sorry, contracts right at the bottom of that candle. Didn't manage to go any lower. And then the real chunk of volume, you know, and okay, buyers, you know, struggled a little bit. Sellers still tried to come in. Ah, here it is. Remember right at the beginning of the stream, I said, if you see a candle where all the volume, like a bullish candle, and all the volume, sell volume is trapped at the bottom, that's the candle right there. And then you got buy volume at the top, and it's like quite a more full-bodied candle. I said it right at the beginning of the stream. That is always a very good sign, but that, yeah, it's going to push up, and vice versa as well. If you see it, the same thing, but the bearish side. So a bunch of, you know, if it was a bearish candle, a bunch of sellers at the bottom and buyers at the, yeah, at the, sorry, sellers at the top, buyers at the bottom. No, other way around. Sellers at the top, buyers at the bottom for a bearish candle. I'm getting so confused. That's a good sign, and we had it here. Didn't notice it at the time, but, and you can see, look, that candle, that really kind of sparked off the move, and even though the sellers kind of dipped back into it, they couldn't push it up. That's usually a beautiful candle on the footprint to look out for. Whenever you see that kind of setup, it's really, really nice to see, especially if the volume is big, like 200 contracts on the sell side, trapped at the bottom of the candle. It's a bullish candle, bit of buy volume at the top. Lovely. That is what you want to see. And I wonder, and oh, you kind of had it here again, but a bearish version, right? Not as good because the volume wasn't that big from the buy side, but again, nice bearish candle. Most, you know, of the volume is trapped at the top and it's buy side, and we close below it. Bit of sell volume again. Great little candle there, for a potential short. Now I wouldn't say just enter based on one candle. It's obviously got to make sense in the overall kind of picture of the market, right? But yeah, when you see a candle like that, it's usually very nice. But I would disregard, candles like this. I'll disregard. While it's technically a bullish candle, I would say it's more like doji, right? The body is so small. We're still closed below kind of most of the buy volume or into the buy volume, and we only closed slightly above sell volume. The sell volume isn't even that big, doesn't really count, right? So you really want to see, that perfect kind of, again here kind of, but the only thing missing here is that the buy volume wasn't that big. If that had a bit bigger buy volume, that would be a beautiful example of that candle, right? But we're approaching the lows again. Why do I have that? Oh, okay. Let me just get rid of that. I don't need that. So let's see if we can tap into this area and see what happens. Potential for a long. Again, all really depends on what actually happens on the footprint. I'll just look at the comments real quick. No need to make videos. I'm just gonna see the replay of this video. It seems you're too busy. No. It's honestly, I need to start making more videos. I've been a bit slacking a bit, but I've just been, I had quite a lot of like interviews and stuff I had to do for Ola Prime. Oh, one moment, we've tapped in. I will get to the comments in a second, but we've just tapped into that area. Look at this sell volume coming in again, trying to break it. They're getting absorbed, right? 400 contracts, 300 contracts. We're not pushing down. I want to see it go a bit lower. This is not, it's potentially not a bad buy, but the amount of volume, I just want to see aggressive buyers come in as well, because they're not really coming in aggressively because the numbers are not changing, right? If these numbers change to like, look, we're at negative 400. If that dropped back down to like negative 100, then 300 aggressive buyers came in. But since the number kind of stayed the same, it's more just absorption on from the order book. So that could be, profit taking as well, right? Which would make kind of sense as we're near that. Well, we just kind of broke that low. There's going to be sellers taking profit. So their take profit is going to be obviously, in the order book as a limit order. So that's why you're seeing big numbers, but not much follow through. I want to see a bit of aggression though from the buy side. Look at that. They just, oh, look at that. All right, we're getting close to that area. Now, this is obviously slightly dangerous to potentially buy into because of the amount of orders, but I'll do it. It's not a big deal. I can have a very tight stop. My stop can be super tight. I'm either going to be wrong very quickly or right very quickly, but I really, really want it to get between these two blue lines. This is where I'll probably front run it and just buy, because then I can have a super tight stop. Oh, it touched it. No, come on. I didn't get time to execute. Come on. Oh, come back. Just a little bit. I want to get perfectly in that area. Come on. All right, I'm jumping in before even just front running it based on that area. And I can have a stop. I'm either going to be, I'm wrong instantly. So either it blows right through and like instantly gets you out, or there was going to be a big rejection. So I front runned it just based on, without even looking at the footprint. But, really tight stop is absolutely fine. That was the area I expected something, but we blew right through. So now the next course of action is, since we blew right through, I expect to come back into it. If we come back in, it doesn't have to, but if we come back into it and then potentially continuation. All right. I love a bit of front running. So this area is cleared. I can get rid of that. A little bit of an area at the top here, but it's not great. I'll keep it. I'll keep it on the chart, but it's not really. I'll get rid of this drawing, make it a little bit easier. Oh, we do have another area right below it again. Let me just find out the exact. Give me 2 seconds. Go back to 15-minute. Don't run away. Stay where you are. I just want to see where this is. So I'm going to just go straight to 150. I want to see exactly where the gap in volume is. There's no real clear gap here. It's just overall a bit of low volume. That's annoying. No, it doesn't really have a clear. If I make it a bit bigger, fuck it, why not do like 300? Come on. Yeah, there's no. It's not really. Nah. I don't see a clear gap. Sometimes, you can see them. It's kind of just a whole. It's just a big area. Annoyingly, it's not one tiny kind of precise area. Sometimes you see it like super precise, and they're lovely. Like if I just do I don't know, like do 300 here, right? And like here again, we don't really have a precise super low volume area either. We just got small kind of dips, but that's because we've traded already the retracement. But if I move it back before that retracement, like down here, we might see like again, don't really have it. The lowest volume node is right there, but it's not like really small. When you see it like really small, like a proper gap in volume, that's what you want to look for when you do it like that. And we never even got there, but so now we didn't have it here either. I'll put it back to 24. I'll try find an example in a moment, but I want to see what happens here now. Let's go back to the 1 minute. Let's move that over. And I don't have an interview at 4 today, so I can actually stay on, believe it or not. Chucky TV says, hi, really enjoyed your auction market video to explain how price works. Do you have an explanation why institutions tend to target low volume nodes for reversals? It's not that they really target it, but a low volume node. So I'll explain this now. Believe it or not, a low volume node, although it's called low volume, is actually, generally speaking, a high volume area. I know that makes no sense, right? But let me explain. So this is, I know that makes probably like, what the hell are you talking about, Sam? How can it be a high volume if it's a low volume node? But let me explain this in the simplest ways I can, right? The volume profile doesn't actually really, I mean, it shows you volume, but the only reason an area is high volume is because it spent a lot of time there, right? So all the high volume areas, point of control is generally going to be around consolidation. So if I just take any kind of, let me do it on Project X, it might be easier to see. So if I just, it's basically a measure of time, right? That's all you're doing. So let me just find any kind of, why is this not loading? All right. Let's just take this kind of area here, right? And I'm going to draw a volume profile from like here to up here, right? I can tell you right now, the point of control is going to be here. There's going to be probably a low volume node. It's a tough one. I don't think there's really going to be much of a low volume node here, actually, because you're just looking where did price spend the least amount of time. It spent quite a bit of time here, bit of time here, but most of the time here. So that's going to be the high volume. Um, Obviously, it's going to be the lowest volume because it barely spent any time there. And as it moved back up, maybe kind of, there's a little gap here, little gap between here. But let's draw it out and let's see. So yeah, point of control basically in this range area, right, where it spent a hell of a lot of time. And the only reason that's high volume is because that's where price was the majority of the time. It's actually a measure of time rather than a measure of volume, if you look at it. So these little low volume areas, right, is where, like, let's take this push up here, right? Oh yeah. I don't know why I didn't see this, but where did price spend the least amount of time? Probably, like, if we highlight the little gaps in volume, like here, you can see price barely, it didn't even spend a full minute in this area here, because this candle just kind of blew right through. Probably 5 seconds it spent in on this price level. So that's going to be a low volume node. Yeah, just because it didn't spend much time there. Same at the top here, didn't spend much time there, maybe 20 seconds, whatever. So what caused that candle to really shoot up is because there was actually more chance in the footprint. Someone placed a large order, probably near the bottom of it, and the market gapped up. Does that make sense? It just blew through many levels and it quickly gapped up. So that's why it's a gap in volume. And that's why the low volume areas are generally where there's actually high volume. Does that make sense? A big order was placed in that kind of area. So when you revisit it, there might be a chance people will buy again in that area, a big order, and you might get a rejection. So that's really why low volume nodes are targeted, just because it actually shows, yeah, big order, no competition. Exactly that. Well said. So yeah, I hope that kind of makes sense. It's a measurement of time rather than volume. I mean, of course, it measures volume as well, but see it more as a measurement of time, and then it makes more sense of what you're actually seeing. Especially when, like like this is a perfect example, right? Like this low volume node here, because it's trapped between heavier volume, like a lot of basically consolidation above and then a bit of consolidation below. And in between it, the market just shot through, right? Didn't spend much time. And you can see that it spent a bit of time here, but it instantly reversed out of it. And then you can see it here, like didn't spend any time in this area. Big sellers came in, boom, 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 pushed the market down. So when we come back into that area, those sellers are more likely defend that area. That's where the institutional activity took place. And then boom, 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 pushed it back down again. So takes a large order to break out of fair value. Exactly. Large order, no competition. You said it really well there. It just Scott. I'll just call you Scott from now on. A bit easier to say. But yeah, you said it perfectly. Big order, no competition. So that's why I always look for low volume nodes. But high volume, don't get me wrong. High volume nodes are obviously also going to have an effect, right? Like especially the point of control. The point of control would be more of an area like I would target. Let's just say hypothetically, I'm in a long, right over here. I got into a long. I would more likely target the point of control as kind of like a take profit, just because I know if you get to the point of control, there's a good probability the market's going to range again. It's just going to go sideways. So you might get out the market. Do you know what I mean? Very rarely does the market just blow through points of control like they're nothing. There's going to be some kind of kickback at those areas. So yeah, but I wouldn't like want to enter at the point of control just because I know it's going to be choppy there. But it can absolutely reject as well off the point of control. Like Many times it does that too, but it's just a little bit choppy. Whereas these low volume areas, you're either, wrong very quickly, like I was wrong on that one, just very quickly wrong. Ah, shit, it came back on the retest and I didn't notice. Okay, so we had a little pullback, potential short scalpels up there. If you remember me saying after I got stopped out, I said the next game plan is a push up back into this area and then a continuation down would be the next game plan. I mean, we're kind of just going sideways. You could have had a small scalp, but nothing major yet. Let's see on the actual footprint what we're seeing. Not huge amount of sellers trapped, so I'm not too worried about that. Bit of buy pressure. The volume kind of dropped off a little bit. It's fairly balanced. 200 buyers here, 100 sellers here, another few hundred buyers, another few hundred sellers, and it's kind of not going anywhere. It's fairly balanced, so it's kind of any man's game here. Again, I'm going to look at the cumulative to see what we're looking at. So we started the range at negative 14,500. We're now at negative 14,300. So a little bit more buy pressure, but 200 contracts, it's pretty much balanced. So at this moment in time, I wouldn't want to enter. Neither long or short. I'm not interested. There's no clear imbalance at this moment in time. Maybe a bit further up, we'll start seeing an imbalance, but here, I wouldn't be surprised if it was more in this kind of area where a big amount of sellers came in. You had this candle here, 400, another 400, 300, another 400. So I would see this area more probably is going to be of higher interest than right below it. Like the lower down here is probably not going to be that as good. But higher up, a bit higher up, a few more, I don't know, maybe 20 points. I don't know how much it is, 30, 40 points up. Yeah, I could see there you're going to get more probably sell aggression come in. So we'll wait it out. The market is perfectly balanced right now. They're both buyers and sellers are as inefficient as each other, essentially. No one is winning. I'm just going to check if there's any other fresh low volume. Look, right there. A low volume node was created, right? Perfect. Little area was created now. And we'll see which area that is. So 25,517. I'm going to draw it out on TradingView. 25, what was it? 517? Yeah, 517. 517. All the way up to about 25,540. So it's a big area, quite a big area. 540. Here it is. So in between here, and again, you can see, like I said, although it's a low volume node, that's actually where the majority of volume was. Do you know what I mean? Just because it's time based, right? The market went very quickly through that area, but you could see that is where the big sellers came in. So if we get back into that area, there's a good chance these sellers might want to defend and push the market down again. So you could see it on the footprint, identify it just based on the footprint. But the volume profile just gives you that little bit, I don't know, makes it easier to see. You just draw it out, boom, oh, there it is. You don't really have to, it's a lot quicker to do. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to get rid of these two little blue lines because they're just going to confuse me a little bit. Makes it all messy. All right, we're tapping into kind of, that big, where all those big sellers are. Let's see what they do. Are they going to just get rid of some of these? Are they going to come in defensively and push this market down? All right, we're in sell territory right now. Benjamin, no worries. You're welcome. I'll see you tomorrow as well. Have a good night. Scott says it's funny. I trade the Dow and the orders are tiny. Yeah, the Dow is like microscopic. The ES is huge, and the volume is massive on the ES. The NQ is kind of a good balance, but I would say, you know, the ES is probably the best one to trade just because it's a lot calmer. It's not as erratic. The volume is a lot bigger, so you can actually see things clearer. But yeah, the NQ is quite exciting, and the Dow is exciting as well. Let's be honest, it moves a lot. It's a scalper's dream. But I feel like the NQ is a good kind of balance between the two. All right, look, we're getting a lot of buyers coming in. They're still, I would say, somewhat efficient, right? They're able to kind of, you know, trade above their volume where they came in. So not ready for a sell yet. Let's just put it that way. We're not really seeing sellers defending properly. Maybe those sellers are out the market already. That could be a potential as well. But are they, okay, a bit of sell pressure is coming in now, but let's be honest, not massive amounts, right? Like you could front run it in terms of, you know, add a small amount, couple of micros, front run it, right? And then as it starts going in your favor, add more size. That's a legitimate strategy you're doing. I do that quite a lot, actually. But I just want to see something a bit more clearer. We're kind of, I mean, it's not terrible, to be fair. It's not terrible. You could, like, you're going to have a bit of a bigger stop. Let's see. 25-point stop. But yeah, all right, the sellers did come in. They didn't come in that aggressively. I thought they were coming a lot more aggressively than that. But yeah, you kind of, you know, you kind of saw it happen there. I don't know what I was expecting. I was just expecting a bit more from the sellers than 180 and 100. I was expecting like another 300 or something. I mean, 180 is a decent amount, but considering the size that they put in that area, you know, I was expecting a bit more. And the buyers just instantly gave up. They didn't even, oh, well, I don't know. It didn't feel aggressive enough. It was relatively calm. What can you do? What can you do? So yeah, those low volume nodes, they're great to trade, man. They're great to trade. Especially on a trending day, they're lovely to trade because you can so, what's the word? Like as the trend moves, you can just keep, you know, they create new ones, like new little gaps in volume, low volume nodes, and you can just draw them out, wait for the retracement, back in. You can just play it until the trend eventually dies. What I would say though, if it's a ranging day, then those low volume nodes mean shit. They mean nothing, right? Like if you're on a real range day, like let me find a really clear range day, right? If I just bump this up to 15 minutes. There we go. We haven't had like a crazy range day, to be fair. We had a little bit. We haven't really had it in recent times, but like, yeah, like one of these days, you know, this is pretty much a range day right here. Right? It just doesn't do anything, right? Just goes sideways. If you, generally speaking, you're not going to see a low volume node in there, like that kind of pattern. But if you do, ignore it, right? Because on a range day, the volume profile is always going to look like a D shape type thing, right? Or like a pyramid. So if you ever see like, you know, I mean, you're generally not going to see it, but sometimes you see one like maybe a little bit above, but just ignore it. It's not going to hold. It's going to blow right through pretty much every single time. You don't want to trade it. You only want to trade on the extremes of the market, right? So on a range day, of course, you only want to trade at the top. You want to sell the bottom. You want to buy. And if it does break out, you really want that confirmation that it's a true breakout, not just a false breakout. But that's all, like, you know, most people know that already. Not really giving any new information there. Let's see what we got here. All right, so that little area has been filled. As you can see, the gap has been well and truly filled. So doesn't mean that it's not going to keep rejecting, but yeah, wasn't bad. Now buyers are coming back in again. I mean, this could technically, I don't think it's the bottom of the market yet. I do think we can go a bit lower. But what time is it? It's already 4 p.m. my time. Yeah, it could be one of those little, range kind of situations before it starts continuing. Caden, I'm about to blow my funded. Ah, man. Caden, what are you trading at the moment? What are you trading? Let me know. NQ. What happened, man? NQ 25,450 still on the plate. 25,450, 450. Yeah, I would still be very much interested in that area as a potential buy. I'm expecting, let me just double check it. I didn't get it wrong or anything. I'm expecting, the only issue with that area, it looks good, and I can see where the orders, but it was quite a while ago. But I would still keep it on my chart, and if we get there, probably won't front run it, but I'll if we're seeing that same kind of idea, sellers get trapped into it, buyers start trading above them, it's worth a scalp at least. You could probably grab 15-20 points, or it might be the full-on reversal like it did there, like you just don't know, sadly. Sometimes, because we are, again, we're at the bottom of his longer term range, right? I wouldn't be surprised if the buy pressure really does come in somewhere in these areas, and that's the next kind of area of interest for me. But as it stands, I'm still very much bearish for the most part. I do think we have a proper sell-off, like a proper sell-off coming in the next few days. I think it's, like real movement down. We just got to clear that range and have a true breakout, and then it will spark that panic selling as well. Because you can remember, panic selling is, there's no such thing as, well, there is. It's like FOMO buying, right, in the market. If a stock or something is rallying, people want to buy it quickly. But panic selling is a lot more of a more powerful emotion, People getting out the market is a lot more powerful of an emotion than, FOMO buying. So once that panic selling kind of kicks in, yeah, it's going to take a good dump, I think. A decent dump. But we'll see what happens. Don't think it's going to do it today, but who knows? This could be the beginning of a crash. Can you imagine? I mean, it is overdue. Every analyst kind of agrees that the AI bubble is going to pop. Like, it's going to happen at some point. It's almost inevitable at this point. But it could happen, it doesn't have to happen this year. It can happen next year, 2 years from now. It can happen today. It can happen next month, next week. I just have no idea. But it's inevitably going to happen at some point. The AI bubble will pop or will burst. And there's going to be a serious sell-off at some point, especially for the NQ being a tech, or tech related. Kim Jong-il says, if everyone think it will crash, then it won't. But this is it, you're kind of right. Like, this is it. Look, at any time in the markets, people are always going to say, "Oh, there's going to be a crash. There's a crash coming." But this one's a little bit different because of, I guess, the instability, of politics and everything. It's we're living in unstable times. I think everyone can kind of agree on that. Um, so that in itself doesn't help. And then B, AI really is the next big wave of advancement in technology, right? Like the dot-com bubble, the internet. Absolutely, the internet was at the time the big next wave of technology that's going to change the world, right? And how we do everything. And it was massively overvalued right at the beginning. Any company that just spoke about the internet, essentially somehow incorporated the internet or had a website, they were, their stocks were going up because it was the next new thing, the hot topic. And then we kind of had the big data one. I don't know if you guys remember big data. That was kind of a buzzword. It wasn't a huge one. It was a bit of a smaller one, but big data was like a big one at one point. Everyone's like, big data, big data. I don't even know what big data is, to be honest. I don't think anyone really knows what the hell big data is. It was just one of these buzzwords that at one point every company was like, yes, we are big data, whatever that means. But it seemed to work. It pushed their stock up. Investors love that hot, that keyword. And now AI is the new one. But AI is like seriously big. Like seriously big. Let's be honest, the only reason the video is as high as it is AI driven, right? Nvidia is, I think, still the biggest market cap of all companies. Yeah, I think they're like way above pretty much everyone. It's all AI driven, and okay, yeah, chipsets and stuff, because that fuels, AI needs all that tech, all the chips and whatnot. So it makes sense. But the AI bubble will burst. Like it's massively overvalued. Because every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there, every company is just throwing AI. I said this in the previous stream. It wouldn't surprise me if some company comes out with an AI coffee machine or some shit. Do you know what I mean? Just to up their share price, AI coffee machine. It somehow, I don't know, picks up on your habits and recognizes that you're sleepy and makes you a coffee before you even realize you want a coffee, or some absolute nonsense, some complete garbage that no one really needs. But they'll slap it on, they'll throw those keywords in, throw that into their, you know, 5-year projections, AI, this and that. And then all these investors, oh, AI, yeah, okay, buy that stock. They're innovation, innovative AI innovators all start buying it. And then eventually, boom, it crashes. And then only like the serious contenders kind of survive, and you get all these kind of like the dot-com bubble happened. Loads of companies just went bust because it was garbage, right? It was just absolute garbage. So yeah, you're gonna get a lot of that, but we don't know when that's gonna happen. Your guess is as good as mine. Every analyst kind of agrees it's gonna happen, but we don't know when. Some are saying this year, some are saying, oh, it's still got years away. I don't know, but we'll see. And Dark Fire says, everybody wants the crash to happen. Nobody wants to be involved when it happens. This is it. I mean, a crash is always it. I personally think a crash once in a while is good because it kind of resets the market. It slaps, a bit of sense back into the market, and a bit of value, a bit of fair value comes back in. When everything is overhyped, when prices are dictated by hype rather than actual value, you get chaos in the market. Because on one side you got people looking at, I don't know, Tesla and saying, why is Tesla so expensive? Why is their share price so high right now? They're not really, let's be honest, they're not selling more cars than other people. They're not, like, the actual balance sheet isn't that great. But it's only because of the hype around Tesla that's making their share price so expensive, right? So you have on one hand people who look at it from a realistic point of view, from facts and figures, and say this is overvalued. And then you got the other people who just buy into the hype, right? And you get that chaotic kind of nature in the market, and the market just becomes chaotic. Whereas when a crash happens, it kind of resets it a bit. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of chaos within the crash, obviously, but then after a couple of months, whatever, you get a little bit of more kind of um, just a bit more agreement as a whole, and it just calms down a little bit. And I think once in a while, a crash is kind of a good thing. And remember, as futures traders, we can short the market. If the crash happens, we can short the market and we can make a very good payday. And then, let's say a crash happens today, hypothetically, right? And we get a proper crash, sparks off today. And in the next month, NQ drops, 30% or something, 30, 40%, loses a huge amount. When it starts bottoming out, which it will, it's never going to go to zero. It's a good time for, long-term investments. If you've got a bit of, if you've got a savings account and you have, 20, 30 grand in that savings account, well worth, diversifying, buy a few stocks long-term, not day trading, long-term, get it quite, that's truly buying the dip, buying the dip on a crash is really how you should be buying the dip. I'm not saying, every time the NQ drops 0.5%, you should buy more shares of whatever companies. No, but like a proper crash and it starts bottoming out, and you can use your day trading skills to kind of see where the bottom out would be, or potentially. And if you're holding a stock, it doesn't hurt the same as if you're day trading. So you're not leveraging it, right? So it's not, if you buy something at $200 and it drops to 180, you've only lost $20 on paper. It's not like magnified with leverage like in day trading where, oh, that hurts, you're going to blow your account. So yeah, you can hold it a bit and hold it for the next, decade. I know that sounds like a long time, but genuinely, if you hold it for the next decade, there's a good chance, high probability, like super high probability, the S&P 500, all that stuff is going to again start rallying up, unless like the US as a country ceases to exist and become a third world country or something. Do you know what I mean? Like unless something major happens, right? There's a good chance the S&P, the NQ, all that stuff is going to recover again, right? The stock market is going to recover, and within 5-10 years, it's going to be at all-time highs again, easily, way past all-time highs, and so it's a good long-term, like crashes give you that opportunity long-term to build wealth as well, and it's something you just don't touch, just let it ride. It's going to give you a much better return on investment than a bank saving account, whatever they give you, so yeah. AI sex toys. I wouldn't be surprised. Man. You never know. Like even like dating apps now use AI to determine your perfect match and all this. It's garbage, man. It's going to use AI. You either like someone or you don't. Like AI isn't that powerful that it's going to somehow, I don't know, find the love of your life through all their bullshit metrics. Like, but again, it's just to pump up their share price. It's all rubbish, right? Jake, hey, I'm low on money. Do you know any website where I can get order flow data for cheap? Yes, the cheapest one. Like, truth be told, the absolute cheapest. I'm not affiliated by them or anything like that. I think they're called Cluster Delta. So let me just go up to their website. Cluster Delta. This is their website. This is like the cheapest order flow you're ever going to get, right? And it's actually not bad. Don't get me wrong. It's not as slick as, other platforms, but it's half decent. Like you can actually, you get everything you kind of need with it. All the major stuff is there. And they got their own software here. That's kind of how the footprint looks. You've got volume on the side. You're not going to have volume profile. It doesn't have that, but you can use volume profile. I think most charting solutions have volume profile. This is only purely footprint, but you can see, the delta, things like that. And it's dirt cheap. Like 1 month, it comes with the data, $7.50. Like it's the cheapest you're ever going to get it. I mean, How they're able to offer it that cheap for 1 month, I actually don't know, because I'm pretty sure the data subscription from the CME costs more than $7.50. So they somehow have like some license and they kind of just push it out to every account. So fair play to them. They're proper nice. Or 1 year is like $64, dirt cheap. But like I said, it's not going to be as slick as, better platforms. But if you're starting out and you just need some raw data, these are the things you can trade on it that it has. So you got the NQ, where is it? Indexes. There you go. NQ. You got the S&P. So the two majors, and you can also do currencies, but I wouldn't really recommend currencies for futures, to be honest. The volume's just not that great. But yeah, ES and NQ you got, and obviously the Dow as well. Ignore Bitcoin. Never trade Bitcoin futures. The volume is it's just bullshit. The volume, right? It's not bullshit. It does come from the exchange, but what I mean is Bitcoin is still predominantly, most of the volume comes from, Coinbase, Kraken, Binance, all the crypto exchanges. So what you're seeing on the Bitcoin futures is a sliver of the true market, whereas stuff like the ES and NQ, you're seeing actually pretty much the majority of the market. So it's a lot more accurate data. So that's why I really only stick to ES and NQ and the indices, basically. But yeah, Cluster Delta, I'd recommend it, man. It's a decent program, and you got everything you need. I'll probably be doing a video on all different platforms soon as well, where I'll be showing, the pros and cons of all different platforms, order flow platforms, and kind of, so you get an idea of what suits best for what you're looking for. But, you're welcome, Jake. No problem. What were we talking? Let's see what this market's doing now. So we've filled that area, had a bit of a rejection, but nothing major. The market's kind of dying off a little bit. Bookmap, yeah, Bookmap, really popular one as well. I still want to check out deep charts. I want to check out deep charts. I keep forgetting to freaking sign up. But actually, no, I looked at it like a couple of weeks ago, deep charts, but I didn't sign up because it said like coming soon under order flow. And I was like, are you actually getting order flow? I wasn't sure because the way it's just said like coming soon. I was like, so what am I getting right now if I buy? Do I get the order flow package? I don't know. So I have to recheck if they've come. Is it difficult to trade this versus CFDs? I'm a MT5 and trade locker platform trader thinking of switching to futures. Look, if you're going to trade CFDs, I would say be more of a swing trader, more longer term, right? If you're trying to scalp CFDs, very difficult because you're not seeing the data. However, you can still trade CFDs, but use the futures data. So for example, this is the NQ, so the Nasdaq, right? On CFDs, it will be called like the NAS 100 or whatever, right? They will have a bit different names, but it's like NAS 100. The chart on the CFD version and the futures version is pretty much identical. Looks exactly the same. The only difference you're going to see is the price is slightly different. It might be 100 ticks or 200 ticks different, but like if the futures chart goes up, the CFD goes up. Like it is pretty much 99.9% identical. So you can use a CFD broker or prop firm, right, to execute because the futures is a bit more difficult. Like it's a bit more expensive to trade futures, right? So if you like, using MT5 and a CFD broker or whatever, that's absolutely fine. You can trade the CFD version of the futures instrument, but use the data. If you're scalping, use the data that the futures market gives you. All right, because it's just going to make your life a lot easier in general when it comes to especially scalping. You're welcome. You're welcome. Deep chart's so expensive and overhyped. Have you tried it, Kim? Have you actually tried deep charts? Because it looks good. This is the thing, but it is expensive. It was a bit pricey. But if it's as good as, like I'm willing to try it out. I don't mind paying like a month, giving it a good test and see if if it's good. But have you tried it? I have Quant Tower for free. Ah, okay. Well, yeah, if you got Quant Tower, I mean Quant Tower's decent. Um, I've heard a lot of good stuff with Quant Tower. AI simplified. Jake, can you tell me the website for order flow data, bro? Uh, did you mean AI simplified? Are you talking about the thing I just showed Jake? Uh, let me find it for you. This, it's called Cluster Delta. It's basically an order flow platform, but like a really cheap one, right? And they got their own kind of software. You can also they got some indicators you can integrate with MetaTrader and stuff, but this is basically their software. Like I said, it looks, let's be honest, it looks shabby, but you get the footprint. Like it's literally just a footprint with a bit of extra, bit of volume data at the top, like the delta and stuff like that. But you can get the delta footprint, bid ask footprint, and it's literally like $7.50 a month. So this is the cheapest way entry to order flow that you could ever get. So if money is like tight and you want a bit of order flow, kind of you want to get into order flow, this is the one, man. This is the one. I'm not going to get it anywhere cheaper. All right, so we're getting something interesting's happening here. Just want to check. We're seeing a ton of buyers coming in. Aha. It's a tiny little bit. This is where low volume kind of starts. I would say a little bit, but we've been in there for a little while and there's big heavy volume. But this looks quite interesting. Look at this cluster of buyers kind of coming in. And they're starting to fail. I'm going to front run it just with 1 micro. And if we start moving, I can add size. This is looking quite interesting. YM, the Dow's headed back to highs. Yeah, the Dow has been very different to. So this was quite interesting. We got a point of control here. We got a lot of sellers here, little low volume node as well, and then a bunch of buyers, like a real big cluster of buyers, failing to get this market up. It doesn't look bad. Bit of aggressive selling coming in. I'm probably going to add another position, another micro. We might actually push down here. I want to see these sellers, but they are getting absorbed as well. You can see, look, 400 contracts. We're starting to trade a bit below the heavy selling, but I need to see a bit more speed. Do you know what I mean? A bit more like movement from the sellers. But it doesn't look terrible. Would you need a CME subscription along with the cluster delta script? No, it literally comes with the subscription. So you pay $7.50 and you got the software and the data. It's like dirt cheap. I don't know how they do it, but incredible. And it is actually real data. It's not like you can test it on other platforms. It's genuinely real data. Like, it's incredible. Or you can buy for $14 TradingView Premium plus live data. How are you getting it for $14? Oh, shit. I am on the 15-minute. I didn't even realize, Nadine. I thought I was on the 1 minute. I didn't even... Man, these live streams are making me... but that's actually still good. It still looks good. Look, 400 at the top here. I was wondering, I was like, wait a second. Big, heavy... But no, this still looks good. Again, a huge rejection there. A lot of buyers couldn't get it up higher. I'm going to jump to the 1 minute here. But the sellers are, they're starting to struggle a little bit here. I want to see a bit more speed from the sellers. I want to see them, really push this market down a bit. Because they're adding a lot of sizes too. It's not really going in their direction either. So the sellers aren't great either. So there's a good chance we could just, kind of drift up again, go back into this area. Because look, we're starting to trade slightly within the area of where those sellers came in. If we, realistically speaking, if we get above them, we're doing another rotation. But they kind of defended a bit. Now I really need to see these sellers break below these buyers here. Well, not buyers, but break below whoever's absorbing on the order book. You can see a slight, there we go. We're kind of breaking through now. That's good. Very good. Very, very good. Come on, sellers. Do your thing. Look at that, buyers coming back in. Let's see if these buyers become effective. Yeah, we traded through them. Very nice. That was actually a very nice, clear-cut kind of footprint example there. We'll go over it in a second. Just going to double check. I haven't got a gap or anything here. Oh, there is a freaking gap that we could reject off. But let's see if we can blow through it. If we blow through it, we're going down, which is great. JB Trades, yes, it was based on a low volume node. If you go back near the kind of middle of his stream, maybe an hour ago or so, I explained the low volume nodes really in depth, why they are what they are. I don't know if you've just joined us, but yeah, once the stream ends, have a look around the kind of, look, we're getting trapped in this low volume node potentially. I'm going to give it a couple of more seconds, see if the sellers can get below. I want to see the sellers, trade below their volume. If they start struggling and start trading above it and buyers come in, we could have a pullback and then might as well get out, re-enter at the pullback. Yeah, they're exhausted. All right, we'll take the money. It's fine. And that kind of lines up with what people would see is probably potentially a trend line. So I'm kind of not surprised that people are buying. But yeah, it's all good. But yeah, JB Trades, probably about an hour ago or so, I really explained the low volume nodes quite in depth. But I'll do also a video, like a proper video, on my channel for it. I need to make more videos. I know I've been slacking a bit recently, so I'll do that. But yeah, going back to the trade I just took, this is actually a really nice example here. This is really, really nice. So we've got a low volume node, right? I had it drawn out. Where is it? There it is. So again, you can kind of see it. It's a little bit, bit heavier volume. The volume dips a bit, and then a bit heavier volume, and then another little volume dip, right? So lower volume trap between heavier volume on either side. So draw that out. We got into that area, and now look what happened when we got into it. Big buyers again, 400 contracts, another 220, and then another 200, another 250, so another 500 altogether. You're looking over 1,000 extra buy contracts came in, and we didn't go up at all. Just couldn't push it up. And then as we traded below them, you can see them dropping off and sell aggression coming in. And I think that's where I entered pretty much, and yeah, rode it down a little bit. Now, buyers are trying to come back in, but I think ultimately we're still going to pretty much go down. But now that we're kind of dead in the middle, again, I don't really want to trade when we're in the middle of kind of, where we are in the last hour or two. I only want to trade at extremes, But pretty much sums it up. How long have we been on here for? 2 hours and 10 minutes. This is probably one of my longest live streams. Still got good viewership. 67 people tuned in, which is absolutely awesome. I will say a few things though. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, it would help me out massively if you do hit that subscribe button. I will be, live pretty much every single trading day, and I'm going to be making a lot of good order flow related videos in the future as well. So yeah. Have you got payout proof from this prop firm you're using? So Norm, I actually work for Ola Prime. So the accounts I have are slightly different. Okay. So I'm not just using them. Like before Ola Prime was a prop firm, we were trading floor, closed capital. I was a trader with them. I've been with them for years. So I'm actually a member of. If you go to their website and go to who are we, you'll see my picture there. So it works a bit differently. It's not like I get a payout certificate and stuff. It's a bit different because I'm actually part of the company. So. But yes, if you go to our Discord, we've got loads of people, they post their payout certificates, all that stuff. So go to our website, you can join the Discord, and yeah. Kim Jong, do you have a Discord? I don't have a personal Discord, but I have a section within Ola Prime's Discord. Okay. So if you go to our Discord, olaprime.com, there will be let me pull it up real quick for you. Oh no, that's the wrong one. That's something else. Give me a second. So if I go to yeah, if you go to our website olaprime.com, scroll down to the bottom, there will be a join Discord button, and then in that Discord there is I guess it's called a channel. I don't actually know what it's called, but on the left hand side where you got all the different rooms or channels or whatever, there's one dedicated to me, and that's where I talk to people and everything. So, or you can what's it called, I'm on Instagram as well. The link's in the description. I get people DMing me a lot on Instagram, and I literally have replied to every single person. So I'm quite proud of that. I've replied to everyone on Instagram. So I do actually reply. It's not like I just like ignore people. I talk to everyone who sends me a message. So if you need I don't know, something explained, or you're looking at something, say, hey, have a look at this. What do you think? More than happy to help you out. It's not a problem. Looking forward to your videos. Thank you. Thank you, TM Cloud. They'll be coming soon. Definitely coming soon. But yeah, this I gotta say, this was like a perfect example of the footprint. This trade here, this was beautiful. The footprint was almost, you can't really ask for a better setup than this. It literally ticks every box clear as day. Scott, have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one. But yeah, this ticks like every box. Definitely screenshot this setup right here. This is if you ever see this on the footprint, it's a high probability setup. All right. Now, you're not always going to see it that clear, but this is what you're looking for. Big amount of buyers fail to push it up, break below them, sellers come in, we're in a gap, like everything ticks perfectly. Really, really nice setup. But yeah, I think I'm pretty much going to call it a day there, though, guys. Been on for like 2 hours. All in all, pretty good session. I think we've got some decent trades in. We missed quite a few near the beginning when the market was all erratic. But yeah, no, it was a really, really decent session. So thank you all for tuning in. I'll be back again tomorrow. What day is it today? Oh, it's only Wednesday. I felt like it was Thursday for some reason, but no. I'll be back, tomorrow again. Yes, no problem. 1 second. It's olaprime.com. Hope you can see that. olaprime.com. Okay. And yeah, like I was saying, thank you all. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great rest of your trading day. Have a great rest of your day. Take care, Darkfire. Nadine as well. Take care. Cody, good seeing you. Take care. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great one, everyone. Thank you.